welcome back. Hey, you just got a extra special episode last Sunday.
Ooh, did you love it? I hope you did.
Hauntings, there's nothing like it. That's why we do it.
And they're hauntings, and they're awesome.
Boo. Okay, well, hi, I'm Bev.
And I'm Diz.
And this is
Trigger Warning.
Okay, what are you doing, Diz?
So I'm going to bring you a mystery.
A mystery?
Now, as far as our normal trigger warnings, the biggest thing is just this is a child disappearance.
Oh, that's not good.
Not a whole lot of other trigger warnings to talk about, which is good, but it's sad.
A child disappearance is a big enough warning as it is.
So you guys, you know the drill. Get a snack, get a drink, get a blankie.
Back. You know what? Hey, you know what? It's June now, so...
Margarita?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Maybe
mimosa?
Maybe a beach towel instead
Sangria?
of a blanket. I don't know.
I don't know, guys. Get comfy.
Yeah.
Because we're going to dive right into the story.
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go. Dennis Lloyd Martin was born on June 20th.
Aw, it's a Gemini baby.
1962.
Aw.
So, our story starts on Father Day weekend, which was around June 4th, 5th, 6th. No, sorry. June 14th, 15th, 16th of 1969. Okay. So we're going back in time.
So he was almost 7.
He was almost 7.
Okay. I did math. Don't be jealous, I did math.
Oh my gosh, Bev, you're so good. Did you practice over the break?
I did.
You did so good.
I got an abacus.
Oh my god. I have never understood how those work.
Either, no.
And I just don't think my brain's ready.
I think it's like counting on your fingers, but with beads.
I don't know, but I guess, I don't know. It's unreal what people can do with an abacus, though.
It is.
All right, back to the story, guys.
No.
All right, Dennis Martin. So he's 6, almost 7, and he is with his dad, whose name is William, who goes by Bill. His grandfather, whose name is Clyde. And then he has an older brother with him whose name is Doug. And Doug is 9 at this time.
Okay.
So they're actually from Knoxville, Tennessee, but they are at their annual Father's Day weekend trip in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
Ooh, the Great
Tennessee.
Smoky Mountains. They're awesome.
So they had planned a multi-day hike and some camping, and they were hiking from Cades Cove Campground on through to the Appalachian Trail. How do we say that? Appalachian.
I say Appalachian up north, according to the awesome ladies on the Morbid podcast. They say it differently, but
yeah, some people say Appalachian. Appalachian. We're from that area, so
that's what we
call it. Anyway, so where they're hiking is actually at a ridge that actually is at the state border between North Carolina and Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually kind of makes the border of those two states. And generations of Martin men had come and hiked and camped on Father's Day weekend.
Route?
Yes.
On that? Okay.
Yes.
That's cool. So it's like a holiday or a family tradition.
Yeah.
A holiday tradition too, I guess, since Father's Day.
So this sounds awful, but on Friday, June 13th, the 4 guys had hiked like all day long. They had started at Capes Cove Campground.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made it to this shelter in a field called Russell Field. It's like a grassy area and a shelter where you could kind of sleep.
Like a pre-built shelter?
I think it was more like for camping, but maybe there was like a shelter of some sort. Like a lean-to. It didn't really go into that, and I really didn't worry about too much because that really doesn't have anything to do with it.
Okay.
So they camped there overnight, and then on Saturday, June 14th, they continue on hiking to make it to the Appalachian Trail. Why am I having to the trail?
You can't decide how you want to say it.
I don't know what I'm saying. The Appalachian Trail, guys.
That's how you usually say it.
Yeah, like my entire life.
Yes. Suddenly there's a microphone in front of you, and you're like,
and I'm I don't know how to talk.
How do I call them mountains?
My mouth is like, I don't know what's going on. Anyway.
So they continued hiking to the Appalachian Trail.
That is correct.
Okay.
And then they decide to stop for lunch in this grassy area, and it's called Spence Field.
Okay.
Now, in my head, it's like a big open field. However, on the sources that we'll have below in the show notes, because
that's how we
there is
roll.
a picture of the actual field, and it's like a ton of trees and like some little grassy areas.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not what I'm thinking in my head.
So it's like a very lightly wooded area.
It's actually,
but there's probably enough room for them.
There's
to
lots
play
of like
a little bit.
rhododendron bushes and laurel thickets.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
mm-hmm.
And then trees and stuff. So it's not like wide open.
Okay.
But there is more grassy area there than the actual forest itself.
Okay.
Anyway.
Kind of like a transition from grassy area to
because
woods,
it's
no
like
grassy area.
Woods all around, and then there's like a fairly large area that's grassy,
mm-hmm.
and then like another little pocket that's grassy.
Okay.
And lots of people stop here because it's
a spot that
field.
They can stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of people stop there. They rest. They eat. Whatever.
They camp.
Okay, so they have hiked. They've stopped at Spence Field. They've had lunch. Now, Dennis and Doug, the two little boys, they are actually playing with two other boys whose family had stopped at the same field. Some sources say that they knew this other family.
Mm-hmm.
Their last name happened to be Martin, but they were not related.
Oh, okay.
But it was like a doctor and his family.
Mm-hmm.
And someone in one of the sources said that they were family friends. So I don't really know because it was only one source that said that.
Right. It could be that
but they had
if
two
they
boys,
had a traditional thing of doing this on Father's Day too, maybe, and they just knew them each year, they would meet them. Or...
Well, and the doctor's family was from Alabama.
Okay.
Which doesn't mean that they couldn't be related, but it specifically said there was no relation.
Okay.
That was in every source.
So
yeah,
they may have known them as acquaintances from previous years,
and there was
or
two
maybe
boys,
they didn't know them at all.
So
whatever.
they were playing
Little kids
together.
Are just like, hey, kid my age, I'm going to play.
So at around 4:30, the four boys are playing, running around. The adults are sitting, watching, talking, and they see that the boys are all huddled together, and they're like, what are they getting into?
What are they up to?
What's going on? So the boys have decided they're going to sneak up behind the adults and scare them.
Oh, boy.
Now, the adults know what they're doing. They get it.
Yeah.
But they're playing along.
Of course, yeah.
So,
as one does, because that's fun for little kids to think they scared you. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's men. And I don't know if there was a mom with the other Martin family, the doctor's family, but I think it might have been all men and boys.
Uh-huh.
Which, that's just a whole different situation, you know? Okay, so the boys decide that they're going to split up, and then they're going to jump out on both sides to scare the parents. Okay? So there are 3 older boys. I never was able to find the ages of the 2 other ones, but they were obviously older than 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
So they say that they're going to hide together, and they tell Dennis that he has to go to the other side by himself because he's wearing a bright red shirt. Okay. They're like, they're going to see us if you're with us. So, okay. So the older boys go on one side. Dennis makes his way to the other side.
And one of the older boys you're talking about is his brother.
That is correct.
9, right? Okay.
Doug. Mm-hmm. So the boys hide in like the bushes and everything. The adults have seen them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they see that they're walking away to hide.
Uh-huh.
And like I said, there's like rhododendron, which is bushy bushes.
Right.
And laurel thickets is what they kept saying.
Yeah.
And so they had like places to hide
duck behind and stuff. Yeah.
So the older boys jump out and they're like, boo, and they, the adults are like, oh my gosh. Yeah, and they wait for Dennis to jump out, and he never jumps out. And they're like, what? Come on, Dennis. So his dad and his grandfather start looking where they last saw him go behind a bush.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see him. They can't find him. They don't see any sign of him.
And he's in a bright red shirt.
And Bill, the dad, said that he was out of sight maybe 3 to 5 minutes max.
Wow.
And they were only about 40 yards away, which on a hill, they're actually up on a hill. This is where this field is.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you could it's like down on all sides.
Right.
To get to anywhere else. And now there are trees everywhere. So, they're not super far away. And it was only been 3 to 5 minutes.
Right. And they thought he
and
was
there's other
be
people
coming
around.
up around the other side to try to scare them. So
they
they would have been fine with him being even that far away because they knew what he was planning to do was.
Well, yeah, he was only like he's like right over there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was just a few minutes ago.
He was within sight.
And a bright red shirt.
Yeah.
And it's 4:30 in June, so it's bright
daylight.
outside.
Yeah, it's daylight.
It's not like it's getting dark or anything. Right. Okay, so Bill Martin, the dad, decides he's going to hike back and forth for a mile or two on some of the trails to see if maybe Dennis just got like discombobulated and didn't know where he was going because he's 6.
Yeah.
So he does that for a little bit. Still can't find Dennis. No sign of him or anything.
Oh my gosh. That would just be panic.
Terrifying. Like, reading it made me want to throw up a little bit. I'm going to be real honest. It was kind of hard to read at first.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Dennis's grandpa, Clyde, he hikes anywhere from 6 to 9 miles.
Holy crap.
One source said 6, another said 9, and then another one said 6. So he's hiking back to the Cades Cove campground to find the rangers, to let them know that they've lost.
So they have a missing
child. He gets there at like 8:30 p.m. So then he hikes back some of the trails.
Getting there at 8:30, it still would have been light.
Yeah.
In the summer.
But not too much longer.
Right, but not longer. Yeah.
Right?
Not too much longer, yeah.
So then Clyde hikes back up the trails and it comes back to Spence Field. Still hasn't seen Dennis because he's like, maybe he's on a different trail.
Sure they're all calling for him and yelling for him.
Oh, absolutely. So it's getting late, obviously. It's like 8:30, 9 o'clock, whatever. It's starting to get dark. And a storm starts coming in.
Oh, no.
Okay? So...
And even in the summer at night on a mountain, it can get
They're
cold.
still trying to search. They're trying to yell for him. They're like, rangers have come. They're trying to search as best they can in the dark.
Right.
Overnight, torrential rains.
Oh, gosh.
In like a short amount of time, it was almost 3 inches of rain.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
And the temperatures dropped to like 50.
Yeah.
So this little 6-year-old boy is out.
Yeah, and 50 degrees and wet. Hypothermia can definitely.
The weather was so bad it caused landslides, washouts, streams were actually flooded. The water was like roaring at this point.
Right.
Because it's coming down the mountains and everything. There was lightning, thunder, fog, wind, rain. People at the shelters in that area could barely get their fires to light because of the wind and the rain.
Oh, wow.
So it was horrible situation if this little boy is out there by himself in the dark.
And a lot of little kids that age are scared of storms and
Can
stuff
you imagine?
like that. And he's outside in it.
Lightning and thunder.
Yeah.
And then fog, so you can't even really see where you're going.
Yeah.
And then really hard rain. Okay. So they try to look for him as best they can overnight, but that's only going to work so much.
Right.
So the search really starts the next day, which is Sunday, which is Father's Day, June 15th. At 5 a.m., they start the search.
I'm sure hoping, okay, maybe he found a place to hunker down and stay warm or whatever. And
so the search, the initial crew was 30 people, park rangers and some people. They had rangers, some hiking club members, and some other locals who kind of knew the area started searching. And interestingly, on that first day of the search, there were 40 Boy Scouts camped at a nearby shelter. And they actually tried to join. However, that just means that there were multiple child-size muddy footprints everywhere.
Oh no.
So it actually ended up not helping.
Causing problems, yeah.
Okay. So the National Park Service, the NPS, is of course who is in charge of our national parks.
Right.
That's the rangers that we talked about.
Park rangers.
So they got assistance from the National Guard, the U.S. Army, the Tennessee Highway Patrol.
Oh wow.
And K-9 units. The Army and Air Force helicopters came in. The Green Berets, who were nearby doing maneuvers and stuff, came to help. And then the Red Cross came in to provide food to all the volunteers.
Wow.
So all this help that they were getting finally swelled up to 1,400 people a
Holy
day.
crap. This was back in the age before cell phones and stuff, too.
Can you imagine?
They just radioed all these people in.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, like, obviously it's not just,
it's
like,
not like near a
backwoods or
big
anything.
city either,
Exactly.
though. Like,
it's not like we're near New York or Los.
But, I mean, Great Smoky Mountains is, like, I think maybe even the most visited park in the U.S.
Agree. Absolutely. And I think it was then as well. And it didn't have all the tourist things then in 69.
Yeah, it had some, I'm sure, but yeah, it's...
So all these people are just walking all over everything, trying to help.
Screwing up the smells of everything so the dogs can't track them.
So they talked to a lady whose name was Liz Hall. She was the former National Parks Emergency Manager for the Great Smoky Mountain National Parks. And she said, more help is not always help.
Yeah.
She said people trampled evidence and they can miss things that a trained person would actually see if it's still even there.
Right.
Okay. So this was on June 15th. So the search continues. June 20th, Dennis turned 7. They still haven't found him. Not even a sign of him.
Man.
On June 25th.
It's been 10 days.
The search officially kind of goes nationwide. So, like, everyone hears about it in the country.
Right.
And then on June 29th, the NPS officially terminates the search. Like, the full force search that they had been doing for days and days and days and weeks and weeks.
Especially in the woods, probably, because at that point they probably thought he either got into a flooded stream and got washed away, or somebody took him, because they've searched everywhere.
Exactly. So a family member wrote to President Nixon, who was the president at the time, asking for help. Which I was like, what? Like, that blows my mind.
Yeah, that you could just write to. Yeah, that you could just write to the president, and he would actually get your letter.
And then Dennis's mother, whose name is Violet, actually pleads with the FBI for them to get involved. Now, normally they don't get involved unless it's a definite homicide,
right,
or an actual abduction.
Yeah,
and there is not a sign that either of those things have happened.
Right.
I do think that they end up coming to sort of help.
I guess if local authorities let them help, then they'll help. But
maybe if they requested them.
Yeah.
I don't know. And in 1969, I don't know how, like, strict they were about protocol and stuff, especially when it has to do with a child who can't be found. Also, unfortunately, you get a nationally well-known psychic contacts Bill Martin, Dennis's dad, and says, hey, there's a cabin. I see a cabin, and there's, like, something shiny in the window. That's where he is. So
you mean like glass?
Right?
Glass is shiny.
I'm like, what is it? What's shiny? Shiny? Okay, so Bill Martin and Lee, I think his last name is Sneddon, who is like the chief park ranger, go to a cabin that was near Spence Field. And in here, they found a pair of kids' underwear that were, like, shoved back under a bed.
Oh.
I don't know.
That's weird.
But there's, like, no blood, no hairs, nothing on the underwear.
Right.
So it was like somebody forgot it or something.
Right.
But that was kind of weird at first.
Yeah,
because I was like, oh
freaky.
my gosh. Yeah. Okay, so nothing really came from that.
And they don't think that it's his.
They did not.
They didn't recognize them as his.
They didn't specify, like, what it looked like, if it was, like, boy or girls, or what. It just said there was kids' underwear.
Okay.
So then we're in Blount County in this area at this time. So their sheriff's office has also come and helped with the search. At this point, they're like, look, somebody might have taken him. You know, it could have been an abduction. Most people at this point are like, there's no way he's alive. If he wasn't abducted anyway, there's no way he would have lasted through all that weather, the cold, just the days,
10,
weeks.
12, 14 days without food. And
So, the chief park ranger, Lee Sneddon, figured by this time Dennis was dead and that his body was probably in a crevasse, or in, like, a sinkhole or something somewhere.
Or an animal had dragged it off
Or they're
or
like,
something.
maybe he literally got washed away
Right.
with that. So now they start paying attention to smells
Oh,
and
yeah.
start smelling for like decaying odors.
Mm-hmm.
And they watch the skies for vultures and buzzards to be circling.
Oh, wow.
Which is really sad when you say it out
Yeah,
loud.
it is.
So they did have some trackers that came to help. One that they talked about was a guy named J.R. Buchanan. Now, he did not find Dennis. This is one of the only people he's never been able to locate as a tracker.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He became famous because he found James Earl Ray, who is the guy who was convicted of shooting Martin Luther King Jr.
Right.
In Memphis, Tennessee in April of 68. And he had been in prison. This was later on in 1977. He had escaped from the Brushy Mountain Penitentiary,
Mm-hmm.
and J.R. Buchanan actually tracked him and found him.
Okay.
So he knew what he was doing. He just couldn't find Dennis.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And by the time he got there, it had been trampled on all
well, and
over
I
the
don't know
place.
exactly how long it was. Like if he was like, oh, 2 days later, and there he was.
Okay.
They didn't have any information about that.
About the
There was a
timeline.
really cool YouTube video. Okay, here, okay.
Are you gonna shout somebody out?
No, well,
No.
sort of.
Okay.
It's in the sources.
Okay.
In the show notes, but it's a YouTube video about Bigfoot.
Okay.
But they're talking about this incident
Mm-hmm.
because people are like, if someone goes missing, it was Bigfoot,
Right.
Sasquatch.
Okay.
But they go into more depth about the story, and it was really interesting. So, highly recommend you go.
Until they started throwing Yetis up in there.
Well, they didn't talk a whole lot about
Okay.
that, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I actually enjoyed it. So,
well, I guess if a
watch
kid
out.
can go missing in a 3 or 4 minute period and not be found, then that explains why Bigfoot's never seen unless
Right.
it's a glimpse of him.
It was like Ancient Origins, I think is what it was called, and then it was like, I don't remember. It's in the
show notes.
Yeah, it's down there, guys. One of the YouTube videos. So there was another tracker that came. He was an expert tracker and a retired park ranger.
Oh, cool.
So that's exciting. His name was Dwight McCarter. So he started working with the search the morning after.
Okay.
When it really got, he came in,
so
and
he
that
was there,
first
right
morning,
away.
He was there.
It should have been him and just like a handful of park rangers that knew what they were doing.
That's what it should have been. So he did not find Dennis, I'll tell you that right now. But he said that there was at least 1 or 2 clues that were kind of disregarded or seemed that it was too difficult to investigate, so it wasn't. So he said a shoe print of a small Oxford type shoe.
Uh-huh.
Which is the kind that Dennis was wearing at that time, was located on a mountain nearby, but ultimately they figured it could have been most any kids.
Yeah. And the Boy Scouts were all over the place.
But people think that they should have tried to, but I don't know how they would have investigated that any further. Back
unless
in
one
69.
of the dogs could sniff it and then see if it could track back to
now,
somebody.
There's way too much smells everywhere.
Yeah.
Because that's something we'll talk about. Also, another situation that happened on the same day, there's a man named Harold Key and his family who are from Carthage, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
They're up hiking and everything. They were actually up near a trail called Sea Branch.
Okay.
And they had started hiking that trail. Just a few minutes into their little trail hike, Harold Key said that he heard a shrill, sickening scream. Okay?
Oh, that just kind of gave me cold chills.
And so they're like, what the? So it's like him and his wife and their kids. And so they're like, what in the world? And he looks up and said that he saw a disheveled looking person running out of the woods. Now, some of the local newspapers, when they found this out, all they described the person as was a, quote, dark-figured, rough-looking man, which tells you everything you need to know. So, there's a gentleman named Michael Bouchard. I believe he was the actual officer, but he ended up becoming an author as well, I think. He spoke with Harold Key about this incident years later, just before Key passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And Key said he described the person and kind of the actions that the guy was taking. He said it was definitely a man. Because they're like, maybe it was Sasquatch.
Right.
That's when they were talking about Bigfoot.
Of course.
He said he was wearing like a dirty shirt. That he got into a white vehicle and spun gravel when he pulled away and left.
Oh.
Now, officials, when they find out about this, so Key doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know that there's a child missing.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't find out until the next day when they're home and he's watching the news the next day.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
And he was there and that guy could have been a clue.
Right. So officials talk to him and everything, and they decide that the Key family was too far away from where Dennis disappeared in Spence Field because the Sea Branch Trail was about 7 miles away.
Okay.
And they're like, we don't think even you would be able to hear a child 7 miles away in June.
Right, okay.
So I'm like, okay, I kind of get that because you got to think there's birds, there's wind, just like noises of nature. Mm-hmm. So they're like,
they kind of brushed it off.
Yeah. Okay, so theories. What kind of theories do we have? Because they searched and searched. They couldn't find a single trace of him. So one theory is that he was got lost, disoriented. Super possible because he was
died
6
from exposure.
Right. Yeah. Like just yeah. Some people are like abducted.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the closest parking area to this area was 4 or 5 miles away by trail walking.
Right.
So I don't know, like
how far
it wouldn't have been the guy
the woods, but
right?
Yeah.
Because he would have been 7 miles away from Dennis as well. This guy that they see walking out.
7 miles like up a mountain or like down? Because
I don't know.
If he was,
but if he had it wasn't carrying anything.
I know, like they probably thought the 6-year-old couldn't hike 7 miles and whatever. But if it was going downhill, and he fell and rolled down a hill.
Well, and you had to go downhill to get anywhere else from Spence Field.
Okay.
Remember I said it was like up on a little hill?
Yeah.
Everywhere is down.
Okay.
But then on the other side, I don't know how far up that trail is.
Right.
If it's a big mountain, I have no idea.
Okay.
And there was never any like pictures of that area. Okay, so abduction is possible. We can't just completely rule it out. Then there's something called the suspicious man, which ends up kind of always being an option in most any sort of mystery like this.
Right.
There's just some random mystery guy out there, which to me is like an abduction almost.
Yeah.
However, one thing I was reading in one of the sources is that Bill Martin was talking about this strange man that was like hanging around him the whole time they were out searching for Dennis.
That's weird.
They didn't really say much more about it, but he talked to the like police about it because the guy was just like,
that's weird.
It was just weird.
Like he didn't know him well, but he was kind of sticking with him.
He didn't know him at all.
Okay.
Didn't know him at all.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, that is weird. I don't know.
It seems like the description of that man would have been out and stuff. Like,
at least. So you could talk
so they
to
could find out who he was and be like, what were you doing there? I
think in one source they talked to a guy who they figured out was this suspicious man.
Uh-huh.
And
he had nothing to do with it.
And it wasn't even, I don't know.
Some people just don't understand personal space. But that is very weird to be hanging out with.
And then I'm like, well, has this guy gone through the same thing? And that's why he was all distressed?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
But you would think he'd be like, my son.
Yeah,
we lost him. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. The next theory, he was eaten by animals.
Right.
Now they're like, it would have had to have been a fairly large animal, though.
Yeah. And they're like, like bobcats and stuff like that.
Right.
Bears, foxes, coyotes,
but
bears.
It's like with people around.
But usually they would, like, the clothes, there'd be tattered clothes, there'd be blood, there'd be something.
There would be something.
Yeah. Now that shrill scream makes me think of, like, the sound of, like, a mountain lion or something. Yeah,
that's
a bobcat.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
I hope I never hear that in real life.
Yeah, it can be. Well, and
So
foxes have a weird sound too. Sometimes, like I think it's like part of their mating call or something, but it sounds like a little girl screaming.
ooh, I hate
It
that.
is creepy. We've heard it behind our house before in the woods.
Creepy. All right, another theory: serial killer.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Now,
Again, abduction.
what
That's part
they
of the
said
abduction theory,
was
but
known serial killer that was active in that area wasn't active until months later.
okay.
I'm like, well,
Yeah,
how do
he
you
could have
for
been an
sure
early
know that?
victim, you know. But
But
sometimes you
I
you
don't know.
find out that kind of stuff. But
But it's
again, that's the same. It's basically still the abduction theory, and
exactly
it's like, where did they come from, and where would they have gone with him
that is what
within
I want to
that
know.
amount of time that the family couldn't find him?
Right. And then, of course, the sixth theory: Bigfoot,
Right.
Sasquatch,
Of
which
course.
obviously not
I think it's
likely.
more likely he got
If
lost.
you believe in Sasquatch, good for you. I don't
Yeah.
super believe in
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
I mean, and I think if there's a Sasquatch, they're not trying to be found, so they probably wouldn't abduct somebody's child.
Right.
But,
So, interestingly, in that YouTube video I was talking
uh huh.
about, they kind of addressed that.
Uh huh.
Somebody they were talking
They're
to,
like,
and they
why do we
said,
think they're a monster?
what would be the reason that a Bigfoot would abduct someone? And they're like, the first thing you would think of is food.
Yeah, but
But it's like,
if they're part of like a
it's
human
nature.
lineage,
They're
like
not
a
going to.
missing link or something, human link, like I don't think that
There's
that's
other things to eat in
yeah,
the forest, in the
yeah,
woods.
yeah, definitely. But I think most likely what happened is he got lost or got distracted by something, chased a chipmunk, chased a squirrel, whatever, realized he didn't know where he was.
Yeah.
And then when that rain and the thunderstorm and stuff started, he was freaked out. He could have gone and sat next to a stream, like, or fallen asleep next to a stream or something like that, and then it flooded and washed him away.
Right.
And you don't know. There's culverts and there's little valleys and dips and caves and stuff, and
Right.
that he could have gotten washed into, and nobody would ever find him.
I agree. Because like the abduction thing,
Because how
there
would they
was
have
no
gotten?
sign of abduction,
Yeah,
which and they were like the closest parking area was 4 or 5 miles away.
right.
So there's just
So unless that person can run a 4-minute mile
and
and carry a child at the
carry
same time,
him.
yeah,
Now, like
who
he
would be
was
probably
little,
thrashing and like kicking and
he's not
whatever.
just gonna be like, "Oh, thank you, sir, for
Yeah,
carrying
he's
me."
a school age kid. He knows that he's not supposed to be
So
with
also
not his family.
at this point, Dennis was, I forgot how they said it, was a special education student in
Okay,
1969. I don't know exactly what that means.
right.
He did have a ton of energy,
Mm-hmm.
and they said during their hike, he would sometimes be kind of well ahead of them because he had so much energy and he was just like, let's go, kind of
Okay,
thing.
maybe attention deficit
They also
hyperactivity
said that
disorder.
his head was like kind of overly large.
Okay,
I don't know if it was hydro.
hydrocephaly.
I don't think so because there's pictures of him and he is stinking
Uh
adorable.
huh.
Not that that would make him not adorable, but his head seemed normal
It
to
seemed
me.
normal. Yeah.
But he had some special needs of some sort.
Okay.
But I still would assume he would be thrashing if somebody he didn't
Yeah.
know,
Picked him
most
up and
likely a
carried him
male,
off.
would be trying to carry him off.
And assuming that he didn't scream for help, then they probably grabbed him and put their hand over his mouth first.
Right.
To keep him from screaming, so he would have at least been thrashing
And
around
he's in
because
a freaking bright red shirt, you
yeah,
guys. That is another thing. It's red.
yeah,
In a forest,
yeah,
in woods, where there's mostly brown and green.
yeah. But I mean, and natural woods too. There's so much like on the forest floor
Yeah.
that even like dead leaves year after year, dead leaves piling up on each other all the time.
Sticks.
So even in the summer, you could still hear crunchy leaves sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's why I think he wandered off. He got distracted, especially if he did have ADHD or something like that. If they were talking about how he was always kind of balls to the wall or whatever, he could have easily gotten distracted.
Easily. And actually,
Bouchard... He could have been mad because they wouldn't let him sneak up with them.
And he could have just walked away.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
He could have been like left in a huff and been like, fine,
they won't let
do something else.
me
Yeah.
hang out with them.
Because of my stupid red shirt.
Yeah.
And so huffed off and found a stream, and then, like I said, maybe fell asleep next to the stream or was
and
playing
just got totally lost.
playing on some rocks and fell and hit his head and ended up in the water. And then when the flood washed him away. I mean, there's so many things, but him being as young as he was, it seems more like it was a got lost and it was an accident thing.
Agreed. And Bouchard, he actually wrote a book. It was called The Disappearance of Dennis Martin, Lost in the Great Smoky Mountains. He said, quote, "You could disappear within a couple of footsteps and never be found."
Yeah.
End quote. Because of the brush, the bushes, the trees.
Just the vastness of it all.
Right. So, this search for Dennis Martin is known as the biggest national park search and rescue operation of all time.
Wow.
And I think even to this day, it is still
probably
the biggest.
Probably so, because now they probably learned a lot from that as to
We're going to talk about that.
Should be. Okay, good.
We're going to talk about that. So the total cost, you know how I always like to talk about how much things cost.
Yeah.
In 1969, the search and all the stuff that went along with it cost about $50,000.
Okay.
In 2023 prices, because that's when a lot of these articles were written, it would have been $415,000 for this search. So
$500,000 looking for a little kid that because he disappeared. Well, and the dad said like 3 to 5 minutes, but it could have also been 10 minutes. Like
right. However, you would think with the boys and the grandpa and the other adults,
right,
that they would at least be like, I don't know. But you're right, because people will be like, it was only 2 minutes, when it was like 25 minutes that they were doing something else, and then they looked at their kid.
So, he could have wandered off in 3 to 5 minutes and still not been found, but it could have also been 10 or 15 minutes that somebody was suddenly like, wait, because there were, like...
Where's Dennis?
Yeah, his dad was used to 2 boys. Well, there's 2 boys there.
There's 3 boys.
And then, like, even though that other boy was older, in his mind, there's two boys still, even when Dennis was gone.
Yeah.
So it's possible that he suddenly realized and was like, well, it's only been a few minutes. Where is he? But, not realize that it's been 10, 15, 20 minutes.
And like you said, if he was mad and he was like huffing away, who knows how far he could have gotten.
He could have been like, I'm going to walk back down to the other campground. Or I'm going
to
go
back to
up
camp.
The hill. Yeah.
Because he doesn't know how far it's been.
No. And if he just takes off like a bat out of hell and gets ahead of them and stuff, he's obviously got plenty of energy.
Well, and then it's like if he's bad and then he realizes he's lost and he starts running, but he's running the complete wrong direction.
Yeah.
Who knows how far he could have gotten.
Walking in circles and all that kind of stuff, and he could have easily fallen and hurt himself.
Yeah.
And then the thing that really, like, cements that for me is the fact that there was so much bad weather.
Yeah, that too.
There was water.
And it was only rushing. A few hours later.
Flash floods they're called flash floods for a reason.
So if he was down in like a little creek area that was like super low when he first got
or
into
even
the water.
Not, like even just where water runs off and it could have been completely dry, and then after that rain started, it was enough to wash him away.
It could have been in a landslide.
Yeah, he could have. And then he would have been buried probably, and that's why they couldn't find him. That poor little boy.
Isn't that so sad? I can't let my brain go too far because I've seen too many like disaster movies and stuff, and then I start thinking what he went through. Okay, so the search, good, bad, and ugly. It totally changed how we search for lost and missing people, and it actually changed it across the world.
Okay.
This was in 1969.
So this was an international.
Yes.
Okay.
So
here, people probably thought the more boots on the ground, the faster you'll find them.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that too. Hard lessons learned. Okay. The National Park Service didn't have a protocol in place for incidents like this at that time.
Okay.
So that was the first thing. They didn't know what to do at first because they didn't have a procedure set.
Right.
For, okay, a child is missing. This is what we do. Everyone went everywhere and trampled over everything.
Yeah, now they do like a grid search and stuff like that.
Search dogs couldn't pick up the smells because there were so many different smells. They couldn't just pick up the one of him or whatever. And Dwight McCarter, that second tracker, he said, we did searches back then like they were forest fires. You surrounded it and drowned it.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Wow. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Because, they had a ton of people, which is amazing. They had so many people to help.
Yeah.
but they just didn't. They just
Yeah.
didn't know what to do.
And he, as little as he was, especially if he walked off angry, he could have heard people yelling for him and
been
thought he was in
scared.
trouble.
Oh, 100%.
Especially men he didn't know, and a bunch of other boys and stuff like that, and like
And
just
you know
all
they're
these
not gonna be
different
like-
voices calling for him,
They're
and
not
he's
going to be like,
scared.
Dennis, Dennis. They're like, Dennis.
Yeah,
Just screaming
they're
and
yelling.
everything.
Yeah,
It's scary.
because they're afraid. So he's hearing the tension in their voice, possibly, and he's afraid to come out.
And you know what? In 1969, like I know now, we try to teach kids, like if you're in a fire, if you see a firefighter coming, it's scary because they have their big masks on
Right.
and the oxygen and it's loud and whatever.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Go near them. Don't hide from them.
Right.
Police officers, don't hide from them if they're here to help you.
Yeah.
That's not taught back in 1969.
No.
And
It
if
wasn't.
he has issues, like he might have issues just in general with what he thinks, how he's thinking, how he feels about certain things.
Yeah.
He could have been on the spectrum or something for all we know.
He could have been, yeah.
And then he would have really been like, you know.
Yeah. It could have scared him more than it intrigued him.
So, one good thing that happened is they came up with new techniques of how to search for people.
Mm-hmm.
And since this case, they have saved like tens of thousands of lives with these. So in the 70s and 80s, they began to put an emphasis on research and training for search personnel.
Right.
To actually train them better. And they actually came up with a lost person behavior course that they would take.
Oh, wow.
About like what tends to happen when someone gets lost. Like what
like
we were
they
talking,
tend
like,
to get moved downhill rather than uphill,
right.
Or they tend to
a kid's
move
gonna
toward
run
water, or
right, exactly. So that helps them think like the lost person might. They also developed more proper like rescue equipment to help in this, and they updated communication and like the chain of command, so it was better organized, and you had like the person who's in charge. This is the next level tier, and so people knew who they would report to.
And people who probably specialized in one thing over the other, and
right.
So they were like, this guy specializes in, the tracking aspect. This guy specializes in the behavioral, tendencies or whatever, and between the two of them, they figure stuff out.
And then these are best at the terrain itself.
Yeah.
And what to expect.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge thing.
Yeah,
that's
and the park rangers are really
search.
good because they know the areas better,
Exactly.
And know where the little gullies are and where runoff happens and stuff like that.
Yeah, and with the amount of weather, because it rained for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Not necessarily torrential the whole time, but it just kept raining, and it was foggy for a few days. Because we know how the Smoky Mountains are.
Smoky Mountains,
if you've been in them.
The fog clings to them.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous, but not when you're trying to find someone.
No.
And some of the pictures I saw, it was Dennis's grandfather, I think, and his brother was in this picture, and you could see the fog in the background. Like, you couldn't see much farther than them. And
That's scary.
It was beautiful.
And a little kid, he's shorter. The fog probably came up to about where he was anyway, height-wise.
Right. And then he's got bushes and trees and stuff blocking his view. So the main thing they learned is don't surround and drown.
Right.
They also learned that like how to train rescuers to ask for the public's assistance and in what way the public can actually assist.
Right.
Instead of just having them thrown in there. So they learned smaller groups that are well trained, not huge untrained groups. Secure the area for the trained people to go through and don't let other people in.
Right.
Which seems like a duh thing to us now.
For us now, yeah.
Search for clues, not the person.
Right.
Because
follow where the brush is broken or the leaves are disturbed or whatever. Yeah.
They're like, it could be hundreds of clues out there that you miss because you're just looking for this kid or whatever.
Right.
A red shirt.
Yeah.
Or something. And these other things could have led you to him.
If you just
Period.
Or just
faster.
stopped and thought about it first.
Yeah.
I get that feeling that, especially for the parent, just being like, everybody just needs to go out there and find him. Like,
and there's a chance that could work.
Yeah.
There is a chance.
Yeah, of course there is a chance.
But in some place, if it's a mall or something,
Mm-hmm.
a mall, look at me dating myself. If it's somewhere that's more contained,
Mm-hmm.
that's easier to just like, okay, everyone just starts
Just go,
looking.
yeah.
But like
Because there's not going to be broken branches and
in the
leaves disturbed and
forest, in the
stuff. Yeah.
woods,
Yeah.
They also developed a statistical database for lost person behaviors, which
Uh-huh.
was part of that course,
Yeah.
to train people on how to think like the lost person.
Mm-hmm. That's really interesting.
I
They
didn't go
also,
into that, but I really am going to look that up and
yeah.
just see what it's all about.
I remember, I grew up in the 80s basically, so
Woohoo, 80s rock.
yeah, except for the music and hair.
Whatever, you take that back right this second.
So that was a mad take there, but anyway, um but they taught us. They started teaching children, if you get lost, stop, stay where you are.
That's exactly what we're going to talk about.
Oh my gosh,
You're
I'm so
so
good.
good.
That's
Okay,
called a segue.
another thing that kind of had to do with equipment was GPS technology that eventually came about.
Uh-huh.
So the units that the searchers would use would show the areas that had already been searched, so they weren't going back and forth,
Yeah.
wasting manpower and time.
Right.
And then there's emergency GPS devices that you can get that actually can contact the rescue people
Mm-hmm.
and will give your exact location.
Yeah, a
So
lot
if
of
you're out,
hikers, like
a lot of people
Appalachian
have
Trail
that.
hikers and just mountain climbers and stuff,
Yeah.
carry a GPS.
And yeah, because most of us have a cell phone, but if it doesn't have
A signal.
power, I
Yeah.
don't know how well things work as far as
Yeah.
that. So the GPS has helped a lot, but I don't know exactly when that came about. So
Yeah.
okay, so we're talking about all this stuff. How do you stay safe? What do you do?
Stay
If
where
you're
you are.
I mean, don't go out and hike.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
Don't go outside. It's hot.
It's
Hot. There are
naturey out
bugs.
there.
Like...
So they say know your physical limitations.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Plan your trip and share those plans with family and friends.
Right. Exactly.
It says they said that most searches end up being for people who are quote overdue and not actually lost.
Right.
They're just like later
Yeah.
getting there than anticipated.
And then sometimes the rescue doesn't start until late because the family's like, oh, I don't want to stir something up just because she's an hour later than I expected, or
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, I get that, because you don't
want to be that person
you don't
to
want
get
to be the
everyone
panicky
out.
person and get everybody out there and
You
all
know
that
what?
stuff.
Be the panicky
But,
person, because you
yeah.
never know when it's going to be another situation.
Yeah, and you don't know if an hour is going to change whether they freeze to death on a mountain or not.
Right, or get washed away or whatever.
Yeah.
So they said, kind of in the same thing, if you're hiking for multiple days, let someone know your plans and check in often, have that built in to check in often. So it's not like, well, it was 2 days until they're supposed to contact me.
Right.
Well,
yeah,
if it's every day at least or whatever, that's
like
a little bit better.
yesterday.
They can really track where you are.
Right.
They said if you're camping overnight, a lot of the shelters have like a sign in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And they said do that because
some of the trails,
it's like a paper trail,
and the peaks and stuff, like,
yeah,
I have sign
and it's cool
too.
to see.
Yeah, it is neat. Yeah.
But they're like, definitely do that because that really does show
your
the
route.
track of how you got there.
Yeah.
They said stay on the trails because
Yes.
the trails are searched first.
Right.
Because that is the easiest thing to search.
Yeah.
They said stay put. Don't move around like you were just saying. Stay where you are.
Talking about the staying on the trail thing, there's a story, and I don't remember the lady's name, but she was in her 60s, I think, and hiking the Appalachian Trail, the entirety of the Appalachian Trail. Oh my gosh, I think I know
what you're talking about.
And she was hiking with a friend, but the friend had to stop or couldn't go with her or something. I don't remember. Anyway, but she was camping one night. She was doing great. She walked away from her tent to go find a place to relieve herself and got lost. Just walking away from her campsite to pee, basically.
And this was at night.
Yeah. Because it was nighttime. Nothing looks familiar. And
well, you can't see anything.
Yeah.
It's not like there's street lights out there. That's why we go to see the stars.
Exactly. So, and she ended up, like, I don't know if she found her way, like, she had a backpack or something with her, maybe, or I don't know. They ended up finding her camping area or whatever. And I think somebody eventually found her remains and stuff, but
Didn't
like
she
she
leave
was
a
alive for several days
Didn't
and
she leave like a
recorded.
note or a
Yeah.
diary or
Yeah, she
something?
wrote something on like a book or something that she had or something. I don't remember exactly,
Because
but
people were talking about how nice she was,
yeah.
who had hiked and they like
Yeah, and
spoke
they'd
and
spoken to her
everything.
and stuff, and she'd signed into places, and she was actually supposed to, I think the next morning, hike down off the trail into one of the towns to meet up with her husband to get more supplies. So she actually had told people, like, I'll be due this day, whatever, and he was waiting for her with those supplies, and she never came out of the woods.
Oh, that's so
And it was
sad.
just where she got off trail just for a minute or two and got lost.
Oh,
And I think they said when they found her, she was like maybe 100 yards from the trail. It's like it was a really sad story, and
that is so
can't remember her name.
close.
I wish I could, so I could
I
just
keep thinking
say it. But
Diana or Donna or
yeah, I
something like
can't
that.
remember. But
Brenda? I don't know.
yeah, it was a sad
I've definitely
story.
read that story.
Yeah, I don't I don't hike a lot, but when I have, I absolutely stay on the trail, mostly because trails are easier to walk on than raw unfiltered woods.
Agreed.
But
Agreed.
yeah, it's scary because all the trees look the same.
Yeah. And unless there's like a rock that is like a specific shape that you're like,
Right.
that's whatever rock.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know where you are.
Yeah.
You don't know. Especially if you don't hike there often.
Right. And if you don't have a compass and know which
Or if
direction
you
you're
don't
heading
know
in.
how to read a compass
Yeah.
and how to do. Because
Yeah.
let's face it, we all think we know what to do.
Yeah.
Do we know?
Probably
I
not.
don't know. One other thing they said is to be that being near a stream is good because one, you have fresh water,
Mm-hmm.
and two, usually there's a break in the trees because of the river.
Yeah, people flying over.
So
can see you.
helicopters
Yeah.
and stuff can see you more. So that's great.
Yeah.
And they said also carry a freaking whistle.
Yeah.
I have one on my keys actually.
Oh yeah.
I carry a whistle for other reasons as well, because safety.
Right.
So they also said, here's some hiking essentials, like the top 10 hiking essentials you need.
Like supplies to take
Yes.
and stuff. Okay.
Now, some of these are together: a map and compass,
Uh-huh.
and maybe ahead of time learn how to use it.
Right.
Especially a map. Who knows how to read a map?
Yeah. I mean,
like I can, but I can't tell
I can
you.
read a map on Google Maps because it shows me where my little car is and in what direction
And be
I'm
like,
moving.
hey, 10 miles from here.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, it's 2 inches away.
Yeah.
You know. Okay.
Yeah.
Sun protection,
Mm-hmm.
sunscreen, clothing, whatever.
Yeah.
Extra set of clothes at least.
Right. In
You
case
always
you get wet.
You always want clean, dry socks.
Mm-hmm.
That is the main thing.
Yeah.
Keep your feet dry. A flashlight and extra batteries.
Mm-hmm.
First aid kit, a repair kit for whatever you might have that needs to be repaired.
Okay.
A matches and or lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Food of some sort.
Yeah.
Water.
Mm-hmm.
And then something to use as an emergency shelter.
Right.
Which I'm sure that they
even make those emergency blankets that look like tinfoil. Yeah.
It's a baked potato wrapper.
Yeah, it is.
That's what it is. Guys.
And those are very lightweight. So
that's it. That's all I got for you today. But oh my goodness.
That story is
sad.
One of the saddest ones because it almost feels like it was the first one, even though, of course, I'm sure it wasn't. But it was one of the first ones because it taught them a lot.
At least there. And it became national /
and I wonder if
international.
someday somebody's going to come across the skeleton of a child.
Okay, so
in those woods someday, and
that
be
was
like,
another thing that I did remember reading once, that they found the skull of a small child or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember exactly what happened to where they were like, that
him.
wouldn't be him.
Yeah. I mean, I know sometimes the pulp in teeth can have your DNA still.
Yeah,
so
maybe. But then it's like, okay, I wonder what they would have had back in 1969 that they could compare it to now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Back then, nothing would have, like
maybe x-rays.
Yeah.
But.
Dental work if he had a pediatric dentist or something. But if not, then there wasn't a lot they could do with it, probably. But. I mean, it's still possible that someday somebody will come across it,
Absolutely. And like we were saying, maybe it was a landslide that he was caught in. That could definitely happen.
Yeah.
And he could be found. And I would hope that he could be found.
Yeah.
I would hope so. But I know it doesn't bring him back and all that, but that's been almost 56 years.
Yeah.
In June
Wow.
it'll be 56 years.
That little kid should be
This month
a whole ass
actually.
adult and have his own family and stuff and just
Yeah, this
yeah.
month
Yeah.
it'll be 56 years.
Wow.
They
I
also
can't
had like a age progression of what he might look like,
uh-huh.
which was kind of crazy to see.
Oh yeah, but from a 6-year-old that would be kind of hard.
It was weird because it also showed like a side view of his dad, and they were like looking at a map with some other rangers,
Mhm.
and he didn't look like his dad, but
He may
that
have
doesn't mean
favored his
anything.
mom more or
I don't,
something.
I don't know. Plus, how they said he looks doesn't mean that's what he's gonna look like or
Yeah.
what he would have looked like.
But sometimes those can be pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So, and I guess they use it, about facial structure and stuff, but also parents.
Yeah.
Because the parents are older.
And brother.
Yeah.
And he also had a sister.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember what her name was.
Well, I always wonder when I hear stories like this, because to me, one of the worst things about disappearances is the not knowing.
Yeah.
Forever not knowing.
Yeah.
Just because I've said it before on here, I like to have
The
everything
closure.
wrapped up and know what
Yeah.
happened,
Yeah.
Even if they were unfortunately found dead or whatever, to know this is what happened to him.
Yeah.
So not knowing that is like the hardest part. That's why even when they come back decades later and they say, we found this person, or we, through genetic genealogy, whatever, we found out who this Jane Doe was.
Yeah.
It still intrigues me because I'm like, good. Because now they can start to tell the story.
Yeah.
And they'll know what happened to that person.
And then any family that's
still
here,
alive, yeah.
That's amazing for them.
Exactly.
It doesn't make it easier, but at least there's that closure.
And then one of the things that with the disappearances and kind of going with that, when the event happens, okay, like, so that happened on the 14th of June.
Mm-hmm.
At what point does the parent say, okay, I can walk away from these woods now?
Okay, so
that would be
they
such
actually
a
at
difficult
one point
thing.
Told them, look, there's nothing else you guys can do here.
Right.
And so they like officially packed up their camp, the family did, and went back home.
Okay.
I believe that was all the way in like September.
Yeah.
Finally. So June to September.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they did kind of like, hey,
Yeah. Like, because if somebody, had an apartment and they, as an adult, went missing.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
You're right.
But for you to be in the area where they went, or even to know that this person went hiking, and they were on this mountain because their car was parked at the trailhead or whatever,
and
then you can't find them. Like, I would feel like I needed to stay there until they were found.
I don't think I'd be able to leave.
It would be so hard to walk away. Or even a kid that's abducted from a mall, or that goes missing in a mall. Like, at some point, you gotta go. You've got to leave. But, like, when can you say, okay, in my heart, I know they're not here?
I've thought about that for people who, like you'll hear about a girl who was in, like, the Bahamas or something. No offense, Bahamas, the first thing I thought of. On, like, spring break or whatever, and she goes missing, and so the family flies there.
Right, yeah, to, like, or to another country or something, yeah.
And then it's like they finally are, like, they finally have to go home because, one, they can't just stay there forever.
Right. They have to go back to work. They have to go back to routine. And
no way.
Just, yeah, how
because their entire world is over.
Is there, yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
Like, that is their entire world from now on. It has completely
changed everything in their lives.
It's heartbreaking. And then when it's a little kid, because you would think maybe an adult could eventually get somewhere to get help.
Right.
But a child being able to do that.
That's the thing, as a
especially
parent,
you feel
like
child.
Like the kid would be helpless, and if I don't stay here, what if they need me?
Yeah.
What if they find their way back, but I'm not here?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's why a lot of parents, like, a kid will be abducted or they'll go missing and they don't know what happened to them, and they never move. They stay in the same house. Like, just in case that child needs to come home.
They'll know where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, it gives me chills. It just
makes me feel sick.
Yeah, I don't know how they would do that. I really don't.
I don't know. I don't. Oh gosh, I hope I never find out. It was horrible. It's such a sad story, and especially for them to be having like,
For Father's Day,
and it's tradition in their family for
yeah.
them to go hiking, and nothing has ever happened
And did they
before.
go hiking again the following year?
I
I
don't.
don't
I
know.
never saw anything else because really it kind of stops
Yeah.
once they
Yeah.
kind of
I
quit
just
with the
wonder,
thing.
like, I don't think I
I
could
can't
anymore.
imagine them ever doing that,
Yeah.
or they only come back to keep looking or something.
Right. Yeah, that was a tough one.
And can you imagine being mom at home
Oh, I
and
know.
hearing like your husband calls you and is like,
Yeah.
Dennis is gone,
He's
we
gone.
can't find him.
Yeah. And then mom there's probably some,
You know she blamed him?
yeah, there's some
You
resentment
know
there. She's like,
whether
I
she
let
wanted
you
to or
leave
not.
with my babies and you lost one of them.
Yeah.
Even if she didn't mean it, even if she knew that whether she was there or not, it could have happened.
Right.
There's still somewhere deep inside had to be a feeling like, and for the dad, there probably was the guilt anyway.
Sure.
That
And mom was
no
probably
matter
like,
what you do,
if I had
things
been
can,
there,
yeah.
I wouldn't have let him that far away
Right.
from me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have let him hide behind the bushes or
Right.
whatever. And I mean, that's probably
And
how
it's
I would
possible,
feel.
yeah.
For the most part,
It's
it
like,
would.
what if me and the sister were there? He and the sister always play together. She would have made sure he didn't get too far away. Or what if I was there? Because, yeah, I won't let them go past the line of the trees, but their dad will.
Also, the fact that the older boys were like, you go over there.
Yeah.
I can imagine his
Oh,
brother
his
probably
brother,
had some
yeah.
guilt.
Yeah. Probably so.
And maybe guilt from the rest of the family as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway,
it's
I mean, I hope
heartbreaking.
not, because things like this can happen to anybody. And
literally anyone.
I mean, if adults can go into the forest and get turned around and get lost, of course a 6-year-old can do that.
Yeah.
And he was within that area. It's not like they told him to go hike a mile and then come back or something.
Right.
They were playing and they were innocent children.
Oh, but
and that just yanked their innocence
just want
right
to know.
away. Yeah, I know.
I like you said, I want that closure because
Yeah.
I want to know the whole story and actually know what happened.
Right.
Just because my brain goes so many places.
Yeah. Oh, think about the parents and how many, they're like, is he somewhere being tortured by somebody? Is he somewhere that somebody killed him? And
Is he
did
just
he get
hurt,
buried? Is he
laying
hurt
somewhere
and we can't find him? And yeah, it's so sad.
And then the what ifs, if only.
Yeah.
If only blah blah blah.
Right.
What if I had just blah blah blah?
Yeah.
That would drive you insane.
Insane. I don't know how people.
And then how do you live for your other kids?
Yeah.
Because they had 2 other children.
Yeah. Yeah, they had to, and that probably helped them kind of keep going because they had no choice.
Yeah, but sometimes
that also builds resentment in those children because they're like, they want him back. They don't care if I'm
not
here.
good enough.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's awful.
It's
awful. Okay, well.
Well, now I'm totally bummed out.
Just be safe, guys.
Yes. Be safe.
Know where you're going. Tell your friends and family. Do what you're supposed to. Bring a whistle.
Yes.
Make sure you have water.
Yep. I'm glad they started teaching kids stay where you are, and even so you can get panicked and freak out and
absolutely
run.
And especially at
night. And then, like I said, if he was mad or something and ran off.
Well, I didn't even think about that, and that is a very good point.
I mean,
I could
6
totally
years old,
see that happening.
I could see it because even though logically they're saying they'll see your red shirt, he probably wanted to play with the older boys.
Of course.
It was all their little plan, and they included him
and then
up
it was
to
like
a point, and they're
plan.
like, just kidding.
Yeah.
We're going to do this.
I could totally see him,
getting
any
mad.
child, huffing and puffing and being like, well.
Yeah.
And he goes behind a bush and he's like, I'm not going to play then. I'll go do what I want.
I don't care. I want to play by myself.
I could totally see that happening. Yeah. And then him just getting lost, like you said.
Yeah.
Can't find where he's going.
Because if he's mad and he's just stomping off, he's not paying attention to where he's going.
Right. Maybe he's like, I'll scare them.
Yeah, maybe I'll go hide and I'll scare them.
I'll go hide and jump out afterwards and scare them too.
Yeah.
Oh, I could totally see that happening. Maybe we figured it out.
Maybe we figured out why he disappeared.
At least the why.
To an extent. Good job on your story, Diz.
Hey, thanks, Bev.
Yay. All right, so we'll come at you again next week, and y'all enjoy your beginning of summer.
Yay!
And
summer.
We'll see you soon.
See you guys soon. Watch for deer.